Page 113, yes? Let's just run through it. If you need to make corrections, make any corrections you need. Make sure you feel good about it. Pretty mellow day for y'all today. I know most of you are probably going to cry yourself to sleep knowing that, but let's do it. So, let's see. Problem number 1, they want us to sketch this. So, is this a straight line? Is it a quadratic, or is it exponential?
That's linear.
It's linear. So, a straight line. So, my y-intercept's -4. Right? And then my slope, I'm going to go up 2 and right 3. Makes a straight line. Okay?
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Nothing more to that. Problem number 2. What does problem number 2 appear to be? It appears to be exponential. What sticks out to be an exponential is the letter is an exponent. Okay? So what you have to remember on this, if you add or subtract something, that becomes your asymptote. So I'm going to add 3. There's my asymptote I can't cross. Okay? And then plug some values in. So I'm going to plug 0 in and I'm going to plug 1 in because they're both simple terms to plug in. Okay, now please note, you are plugging in for the exponent x. The exponent x has a base of 2. The negative is outside of that. Okay, so if I plug 2 to the 0 in, let's see if we can nail it today. 2 raised to the 0 power is 1. Good. And then that negative comes along, so I get -1. So -1 plus 3 is 2. So I get 0, 2. There's my first point. Now, the hard thing is, sometimes you can't remember how these open. So this either opens like this or like this. But let's figure out. So let's plug 1 in. So I plug 1 in. We're going to see. So I get 2 to the first power is 2. The negative comes along, so I get -2. -2 plus 3 is +1. So this does this. Okay? That's it. Wow. Problem number 3. You solved on the back. You got extra credit?
Yeah, got them all right.
Good. Keep saying stuff like that, Mara's going to get all confused. Wait a minute. I don't get it.
Me being confused. It's a human thing.
Oh, we love you. Hey, going through puberty. Going through puberty, sorry. Linear, quadratic, or exponential? Both?
Yes. No, it's linear.
It's quadratic. It's a parabola.
That's what it said.
Parabola is not exponential. Okay? Hey, I miss my b value up here. If I miss my b value, the x component of my vertex has to be 0, yes? If that's the case, plug 0 in, 0 minus 2, I get this. So 0, -2 is right here. Pattern graph, right one up 1, left one up 1, right one up 3, left one up 3. There's our parabola. So I was noticing your test. I got to tell you, if you earned like 30 points out of 78 on the last quiz, you're probably going to earn like pretty good on this test.
You think so?
Yeah, I think this test, I think it's good, but I think as far as if you were to take the first 2 quizzes and review them at the least, I bet you can get at least a 70% on this test. I'm glad
you're encouraging this.
I'm just saying, I think this test it's going to be straightforward. Nice thing is you're going to have problems like this. One of the whole front pages, I can't remember which day it is, either Thursday or Friday, it just says graph them. It doesn't say find the vertex. It doesn't say give the axis symmetry. It doesn't say give the y-intercept. It just says graph it. So it's just basically that. Boom. Graph, done. See ya. So that's kind of cool, I think. All right. Now, 4 through 14, let's walk through these. You will definitely see a page very similar to this
Linear.
on the test. So we have this one, which it is indeed linear. Is anyone that struggles with that being linear? Okay, problem number 5. We have y equals 4 times 3 raised to the x power. That's exponential. Number 6 says y equals 2x minus 5. Linear. Number 7, we have y equals x squared plus 3. What do you think? Does anyone have questions on any of those? I don't think so. I don't recall. All right, so let's move to number 8. Now, number 8, you'll see this definitely on the test. So let's fathom how we can do this. You have x and f at x. F at x is the same thing as y. So you have -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2.
Linear.
And then, we have linear already. Okay, let's verify if it is linear or not. So the things that we're going to look at. These are all in order on the x. So here, it looks like I'm adding 4 each time. Agree? And if I'm adding 4 each time, that means I'm dealing with the same slope. If I deal with the same slope, it's got to be linear. Okay? Now, if this was like the vertex, if I had 0, 1, and then right here I had 1, 5, and -1, 5, and here I had 2, 9, and here I had -2, 9, that'd be a quadratic. And the exponential version of this would be like, this is all in order, but this is like, say, 100, then 10, then 1, then 1/10, then 1 over 100, something like that. Or you could have that all in order, where it says 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, something like that. That's how you'd have exponential. Number 9. We have a graph that looks like this. Exponential. Good. Okay, exponential. 10. You have a graph that looks like this. Linear. Number 11. You have a graph that looks like this. Quadratic. Any questions on any of those?
You.
Okay. Problem number 12. The key there says the function is increasing at a constant rate. Constant rate is same idea as rate of change. Rate of change is the same thing with slope. You have a constant slope, it has to mean you're dealing with linear. So problem number 12 says, hey, we have a constant rate. That means the slope is the same. So that definitely is linear. Okay, number 13, population starts at 10 and doubles. What do you think that is? It's exponential, absolutely. It's growing very quickly. And then 14, an employer increases your salary to $1 every week. So it's same slope, so you're talking linear. Okay, so 1 through 14, good problems. You've seen them. Okay, any questions from that sheet? We good?
I'm ready to take the test.
Yeah, baby. So, will you pass that forward? And anything else, pass that forward as well. Make sure your name is on it, though. So page 116. Okay. The first problem, number 10, you have a parabola opening down. And it appears that 1, 1 is the vertex. So you have that. Okay? Yeah, and you'll see this type of problem on the test. Okay, so letter A asks for what? The range. So we have to remember the range are the y values. So if I start forever down here and I'm riding an elevator up. Am I seeing the graph as I'm coming up, or is it not existing yet? Because these go forever, right? So it exists from negative infinity, and then it stops existing once I get beyond that, right? So it'll get up to 1. So technically we should put square brackets because it includes that 1. Now, am I worried if you made that a parenthesis? I'm not too concerned about this on this test. So if you make everything parentheses on the test, you're fine. Okay? But technically it should be a square bracket. Letter B asks for what?
Vertex. 1, 1.
What? Does it really? Oh, it does ask for a vertex. So the vertex is 1, 1. That's the vertex. That should be pretty simple, yeah?
C.
Letter C.
Maximum, minimum.
The max and min. So all you have to do on the test, it's going to have it labeled this, and you need to circle one. So the maximum and the minimum refers to the y values. Do we have a highest y value we can get to on that graph?
1.
Yeah. So this is a maximum because it opens down. If it opens up, it becomes a minimum. The maximum and minimum talk about are referring to turning points on your graph. Okay? We happen to have one turning point on this graph called a vertex. Letter D asks us what?
Give x values in which f at x equals 0.
Yeah, you know what that means? What are the roots? And we'll just ask for the roots. We're not going to have dorky. Where's it appear across the x-axis?
0,
0, 0, and
0, 2, 0.
2, 0. Notice I've labeled them as points. Do make sure they are labeled as points. Don't label it just a singleton number. Letter E says what?
The intervals of x where fx is increasing.
Okay, this is where it's increasing. So it's increasing on that red. Yeah, so from negative infinity up till I get to 1 is where we're increasing. Is there a letter F?
Equation up to the axis of symmetry.
Oh, okay. Axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Make sure you have it as x equals. If you just have it as 1, that just means you're talking about a value. If you have x equals 1, it means you're talking about a vertical line. Yeah.
Is range basically the same thing where it's increasing?
In this case, yeah, I don't want to say it always will be that way. Okay. Any questions on this one? Good? Happy? Give your neighbor a high five and I'll move it, switch the board. Cool. Left him hanging. Number 11. Number 11, it's a parabola the opposite way. Agree? It looks like -3, -1. Okay. What does letter A, oh, that's -3, -1. What does number 1 ask us for?
Range.
The range. Okay, so let's use my analogy again. I'm starting forever down here. I'm riding up this elevator. Am I seeing the graph at all? If I look out right or left out of my elevator. Tell me when I start seeing my graph.
Bingo.
And then will I continue to see as I go up?
Yes.
Uh-huh. So where do I start seeing the graph? So from -1 to infinity. And again, it should be a square bracket. If you put a rounded bracket, I'm not too concerned about it on the test. Letter B. What is letter B? How much?
Vertex.
Vertex is what? -3, -1. Cool. I noticed a couple of you are flip-flopping these. And so realize the x goes first and then the y. Okay, some of you have flip-flop. C. Max min. What do we have? A maximum or a minimum? We have a minimum value. We have a low point on our graph. It's a minimum value. Letter D.
Give x values in which f at x equals 0.
So we want the roots. Where's across the x-axis?
0, -4, 0.
-4, 0, and?
-2, 0.
-2, 0. Perfect. And again, I have them labeled as points. I didn't just goof that. Letter E.
The intervals of x where f at x is increasing.
Increasing. So it's increasing here. It's going up.
-3 to infinity.
So -3 to infinity. Okay, that should be a comma. And then letter F is what?
The equation of the
Axis symmetry. Anyone take a shot at that? Almost. X equals -3. Yes. Make sure you label it as X equals. Anything else, sir? Okay. So, we got a couple things. So, what I would like you to do for homework is just page 115. Okay? It's 9 problems. It just says, hey, I want you to find the vertex, use the 1-3-5 rule to pattern graph, identify any roots in the y-intercept. Cool? So let's go over next week a little bit. Okay? So today's Friday. That's when this is. That's this. Okay? That's a sign. So come Monday, we'll check that off, and we're going to start really kind of our review. Tuesday, we're going to continue review. And I will also hand out the take-home test on this day. All right? Okay, now, I'm going to put this so you know this. The take-home test will be due Monday, the following Monday. And I'll explain why in a moment. So you'll have two, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to do it, and then turn it in Monday. Okay? Now, I would suggest wait until Sunday night to do it because this is going to be very similar to the test. Wednesday is kind of a strange day because you have periods 1 through 4 only in the afternoon, right? So what typically happens on that day? A lot of kids are absent, right? So I don't really have a whole lot planned other than you are going to work on the take-home test. Now, I'm also going to warn you, I do have a sub on this day. I'm going to miss Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week. I will be at the Future Business Leaders of America Conference up in Vail, representing Cherry Creek High School. Okay? Which is fun. I get to go with Mr. Goodman and probably 50 kids, which is great. So I'll be there. Okay, so there'll be a sub on that day. So if you forgot your take-home test, I will make sure the sub has extra copies. If you weren't here on Tuesday to get the take-home test, I will make sure the sub has those copies to present to you. Again, when does that take-home test due?
Monday.
The following Monday.
So we still have more than a week to do it? Or we get it next Tuesday, and then it's due?
So you basically have six days to do it. All right, Thursday, we have part 1 of the test. Okay, and again, guys and girls, I really feel good about this test. I really feel that you're going to do great on it as a group. Now, are there still kids that might not? Absolutely, but for the most part, I think everyone's going to do great on it. Okay? The only thing I want you to give back to the sub on that Thursday is this. I don't want you to give them anything else. Okay? Now we broke this test up to over 2 days, so it would be, you could really put forth effort. So don't be the kid that, 7 seconds after the test is handed out, I'm all done. Take a little bit of time. Come on, I'm telling you, this is the test that could really influence a lot of people's grades, especially if you're on a borderline grade. So Friday, yay, Friday, a week from today, we have part 2 of the test. Okay? Part 2 of the test. So on Thursday, the only thing you give the sub is part 1 of the test. When you're, here, done. Don't take it with you. Turn it in. And you should, the part 1 and part 2, because it was originally created to take 1 day, being it's over 2 days, everyone has plenty of time to do it. This part 1 and part 2 should take the fastest student 15 minutes. I built this to take 20 minutes. Our periods are longer than 20 minutes, so it's more than double that. And more than double that. Okay? Now, if you don't know what you're doing, guess what? You're going to sit there and it's going to be ants walking around on the paper. Okay? But that's what I have planned for next week. Yeah.
So we will sub Wednesday, Thursday?
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Sub, sub, and sub.
And then are you going to explain why the take-home test is not due until Monday?
Because I didn't want the sub to collect anything else.
Okay.
I figured if the sub's only duty on Thursday is to hand out and take back up that, it should be good. And same thing on Friday.
Okay.
That's what I'm figuring. And it's 3 different subs. So they made it so easy on me. Yeah.
So we get the take-home test, and then before we turn the take-home test in, we take our 2 tests.
Yes. So my feeling for you is do your take-home test because it's great review for the test. But I won't collect the take-home test until when I get back on Monday. Now, if you are absolute total angels of my 3 periods, so period 2, 3, and 5, okay, period 2, 3, and 5, I got a great story I will share with you on Monday. And I will tell you that I will make sure that this story, because you haven't heard any stories about me really all year, will take at least 30 minutes. If I got a bad report from any classes, man, we're just doing the boring old stuff called math.
Probably bring the best.
But if I get a nice report for the sub, sorry, y'all have to deal with my 5th period. If all classes get a good report, you have a nice story on Monday.
So